The husband of ricin suspect Shannon Richardson is moving on and now speaking out. And he says he's not angry with her for allegedly trying to frame him for sending ricin-laced letters to President Obama, Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Shannon, a mother of 5, not only tried to allegedly pin it on him initially, but after investigators focused on her, she told them she sent the letters because he told her to. Shannon is an actress who had bit parts in TV shows Vampire Diaries and The Walking Dead. And just a short time ago, I talked to her husband, Nate Richardson, who had his attorney, John Delk, by his side. And Nate told me his wife's arrest came from out of nowhere.
I wasn't present for any of her being arrested. They actually came to my work to speak with me.
What kinds of questions were they asking you?
I can't go into specifics of the questions they asked. It was just kind of random questions that I've been tossed in this and have a clue what was going on.
How about just, how are you feeling right now? Or are you angry? Were you surprised that this happened?
I was extremely shocked. Anger to me is a very wasteful emotion. It drains you physically and mentally.
Since you can't go into the nitty-gritty of the questions in the investigation, let me just ask you this, because if your wife is ultimately convicted of sending a ricin-laced letter to the President of the United States, she could go to a federal prison for a long, long time. But did the two of you ever talk about frustration with government, with the President, with Mayor Bloomberg specifically?
No, we never really had any kind of political discussions of any time. It was mostly, you know, kids got to do this, kids got to do that. We got a trip coming up, you know, just stuff like that.
So how long have the two of you been married?
October had been 2 years.
So in the 2-year time, not once did Shannon mention the president or anger at the government?
No.
Were there any signs around the house, anything said from your wife that showed what she was allegedly up to?
No, the way if I would have saw anything or there would have been a red flag of any type, this would have been stopped long, long ago.
Do you know what ricin is?
Well, I've learned about it from the FBI. I had no clue that it had to do with beans or anything. I was even pronouncing it improperly. I thought it was ricin, and they had to, you know, correct me on that, of course.
What about this? Because investigators say that your wife had told them that you told her to type the letter and to mail the letters. What's your response to that?
Well, I mean, really, that's just her grasping at straws. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with this. I'm an innocent man. That's why I've come to speak with everyone. That's just like last resort. I'm going down. I guess I'll take you with me. Or at least that's the way I see it.
So what about anger, not your anger, but Shannon's anger? Because apparently, you know, she told law enforcement officials when she was arrested, she was very angry with you. And I just want to ask, as we thank you for your candor, were there issues with your marriage? Had she expressed anger at you before? Or you, for that matter?
Well, our marriage was definitely not perfect. We had lots of troubles, but anybody that's been married, you know it's not always smooth sailing. You're not always going to see eye to eye. Anger-wise, most of us tried, either one of us, you know, we tried to come to an agreement or a compromise, and, you know, cross the lines of that.
Nate, if Shannon were sitting in front of you right now, what would you say to her?
Nothing.
Not a word?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Well, I'm focusing more on me and what I'm going to do with my life from this point on, and basically goals to get back to a normal, just regular life that I had.
As you do that, let me ask you though, just about her personality. I know that she had, you know, bit roles on as an actress, Walking Dead, Vampire Diaries. Did she ever talk to you about really becoming a big actress? What did she say about fame?
Well, she'd always wanted to be an actress. She had tried to get other roles past Vampire Diaries and Walking Dead. I always supported her, but really we didn't discuss much about it.
Can you, Nate, describe Shannon's personality for me? What's she like?
Very intelligent, very strong-willed, just very stubborn a lot of times. Basically, I can do anything myself kind of deal.
I read that she is pregnant with your child, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And she has 5 children, several of whom have been living with you all. How old are they, Nate?
Well, starting at the oldest, 19 is Brandon, and then there's, he didn't live with us, he still lived in Georgia, and from this point on, those children live with us. Alan, he is 15, then there's Taylor, he's 12, then there's Ethan, he's 8, and Logan, he is 5.
So 19 all the way to 5. Do they understand where their mom is? What's going on?
I have not had any contact with the boys. Since she had been arrested, I was very worried and, you know, worried about their safety as well. And, you know, I've been trying to figure out where they are, but, you know, I've heard they're in Child Protective Services, and I'm sure they're helping out. They're taking care of them as best they can.
What is next for you?
Getting back to normal. You know, just doing what I like to do and relaxing and just, you know, job and so on and so forth.
Okay, Nate Richardson, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.